Each of us, there's the seed of both good and evil. It's a constant struggle as to which one will win, and one cannot exist without the other. The strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde gave us a real insight of the battle of good and evil within one man, and shows us how these traits struggle to coexist. The novel allows for the concept that evil and good exist in all beings. However, it shows us the beginning of evil taking control of one man's consciousness. In similar scenarios of distress, evil can find its way in taking over a person and their morals. A quote from The Lord of the Flies said, "There isn't anyone to help you, only me, and I'm the beast. Fancy thinking the beast was something you could hunt and kill. You knew, didn't you? I'm part of you. Close, close, close. I'm the reason why it's no-go, why things are the way they are." This excerpt explains how the boys on the island turned savage to protect themselves from the beast, while at the same time they brought out the beast in themselves. As we discover the true relationship of Dr. Jekyll, we see that Hyde is his evil and Jekyll is his good. As he says, "It was on the moral side and in my own person that I learned to recognize the thorough and primitive duality of man. I saw that of the two natures that contended in the field of my consciousness, even if I could rightly be said to be either, it was only because I was radically both." As the plot deepens, Dr. Jekyll shows many similarities to Macbeth, and he goes on his tyrant as king. Macbeth was a man of honor who turned into a complete monster out of greed. There's an obvious change in Macbeth's character that readers are able to see, and in the play he expresses, "I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over." In this quote, Macbeth explains how his evil actions have gone so far at this point, it's too chaotic to ever go back to being good. For Macbeth, he had picked to be evil, and he would never return to his fair life. For Dr. Jekyll, we get to see him bounce back and forth between foul and fair, as he says, "Between these two, I now felt I had to choose. My two natures had memory in common, but all other faculties were most unequally shared between them." Opposing sides may argue that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was about maintaining reputation of a man. But this is invalid because the reputation of Dr. Jekyll is lost when he could not keep his good side balanced with his evil side in Mr. Hyde. In the novel, Utterson says, "But he had an approved tolerance for others, sometimes wondering, almost with envy, at the high pressure of spirits involved in their misdeeds, and in any extremity inclined to help rather than to remove. I incline to Cain's heresy. He used to say quaintly, 'I let my brother go to the devil in his own way.'" This quote shows how Utterson befriends those who may be misled, but tries to keep their reputation, such as Mr. Jekyll. However, Utterson is unable to save Jekyll's reputation because his evil side has ultimately taken over all aspects of his once kind friend. The sad story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde proves that once someone has activated their true evil self, they cannot return to who they once were, and the battle between good and evil continues as every person attempts to figure out who they really are.